You were telling me earlier about Quarter Life because you guys came out with 2/8 Life.
That's right.
Had the first series run coming up on season 2.
Correct.
So tell me about Marshall Herskovitz and the real Quarter Life. I shouldn't say it, but you know what I mean.
No,
Like
absolutely. Yeah. So, we started 2/8 Life, and admittedly so, it was, right at the time that Quarter Life came out, and we're a startup and we're looking for ways to get attention, and it kind of worked. Turns out it's also a really good show. So we launched 2/8 Life, actually got a call from the Quarter Life folks. We were fairly nervous. We were ready.
Now, was this when Quarter Life was doing well, or had it been on TV at this point?
It was right when we launched. So it was before it was on network TV, and we thought it was going to be a cease and desist, and that was kind of the end of the road for us. But no, they were incredibly cool, and started a dialogue with them, and we got to know them really well. And we're actually developing another show along with Quarter Life Online that sort of came from 2/8 Life, which is our most successful show today.
And tell us what that new show is.
The new show is it's not yet shot, but the pilot will be shot probably within the next 4 to 6 weeks. It's called Your Name Here. Currently, it's about a comedy theater like us that gets into the world of online video, and it's an ensemble cast of a lot of really, really talented people from the LA and possibly New York and Chicago comedy communities.
All right. And what's the timeline for that? When can we expect? So you're shooting soon?
Yeah. I mean, I would say either by the end of this year or early next year, be able to check that out.
And what's Quarter Life's involvement?
Very involved. We really co-developed it with, co-developed it with Marshall and his team. And again, they have been unbelievably kind and thoughtful in their approach to doing this, and it's been an unbelievable experience for us.
What have you kind of learned? Because that's stepping up. Marshall's produced a lot of stuff. So what have you learned from that? Going from you kind of rode herd on a bunch of series that you launched on ICN.TV. What have you taken away from your meetings with Marshall?
I mean, first of all, we realized that we all need to have assistants.
No,
it's different, they're a little, they're come from traditional Hollywood. That's what.
Well, yeah, but the reality is, and this is what I didn't know what to expect, sort of getting into that situation, but incredibly down to earth, incredibly willing to work with us, walked us through a process of how to develop a show from start to finish.
Has that changed how you develop shows now?
Absolutely, and I think that that's all that you can really hope for in this process is as we're trying to pull ourselves up to the next rung, it's really, being able to learn from people who know a lot more than you. So. Yeah, I don't know. The way that I approach it is I would love nothing more than to be able to sit here all day and pick different projects to work on and just be able to put money in them and make them happen and not worry about, answering to anyone else, okay? I don't think that's certainly realistic for us right now. I don't know if it will ever be. So again, in terms of bringing other things into the equation, one way that you can continue to do what we're doing is if you start to understand the ways that advertisers can be involved, ranging from, a pre-roll to a brought to you by to a product placement to a product integration. So we've taken the time and done the work to understand all of these different ways that you can go, and we understand that there's a point that you can cross where it's just, it's gross.
And I think I like to use the phrase sponsored entertainment because it's, people, it's a big problem for advertisers, for brands now is clutter, especially on TV. And, before the whole TV system shook out over 50 years or whatever, I mean, these shows, there were single brands that basically owned shows. And that obviously helped with the clutter problem, and there were integrations. They didn't call it that then, but there were things like that. So I think now that you're in a new medium for video entertainment, and I think it's natural that you're going to see some of that come back around a little bit because people are trying. People don't want 30-second ads, obviously.
Well, and I think to sort of quantify it relative to our business, I think that there's different buckets of stuff that we'll do. Some of them, the first 10 shows that we've put out there, completely not tied to anything. We'll always have this goal of working with talent to create stuff, bring it to life, discover new folks, help properties launch. And then on the other end, you may work with advertising agencies on some projects. And whether or not that becomes your ultimate business, or in the short term, that's how you stay alive, it's all part of it. But the intent is to create good stuff and to really tap in this difference between, we're not professional talent from the perspective that we're known all over the world, or that we're not working with A-level stars. So I'm not going to sit here and complain too much about, getting notes from here and there, because I don't know what that's like. Maybe that'll bother me. That'd be a great problem to have. Right now, let's make the best content that we have with the people that we have, and be excited that we're a part of this new frontier, and figure out ways to make a viable business. That's what we do. So that sounded a little bit kooky.
You get passionate.
Sorry, I'm a little spazzy.
You got
today.
fired up.
Fired up. He gets fired up.
Yeah.
That's good.